And good afternoon, everybody. Welcome here as we get set for race number 20 of the season of the third season of the NNSCRA Hersheys Cup Series. We are getting set here for our race at Rockingham, North Carolina. Coming off the heels of a really exciting Almond Joy Series race here. Really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen when we put 42 Hersheys Cup Series drivers on the racetrack. One thing that we learned in the Almond Joy Series race yesterday is that high line is a bit of a wild card. If you can get your car up there, get it wound up to be able to get good runs off the corner, you can pick up a lot of spots in the field. On the pole is going to be KAB Racing Enterprises driver K Batson. His teammate K Tellier went to victory lane for the second time this season last week at the road course of Watkins Glen. K Batson, however, still looking for his first win of the season, and maybe he can get it today as he'll start on the pole alongside of our winner from a couple of weeks ago at Springfield Mile, the dirt track, Benjamin Miles. Benjamin Miles actually was a two-time winner last year, and if memory serves me correctly, I believe he was a two-time winner back in Season 1, so we'll see if maybe he can keep that streak going and make it 3 seasons in a row with multiple wins. Behind him is going to be Zachary Fitzwater, another former winner this season. Fitzwater, the winner at Phoenix. And alongside of him, you've got another driver that's looking for his first win of the season, and that is Daniel Voyles in the 26. Joshua Ciculli, J Richardson, they make up row 3. A couple of former chasers from last season trying to make it into the chase this season. Actually, I'm incorrect. Joshua Ciculli, I believe, did not make the chase last year, even though he was a multiple-time winner. Richardson, however, did make the chase for the championship. We'll get these cars rolling off here. You can take a look at the starting lineup in the description of this video. And as they roll off, the point stands coming into this race are as follows. Cole Baker is the points leader still, after he had yet another solid top 10 run last week at the Glen. K Tellier, with her win, jumped up to second in the point standing. She's 35 points out of the points lead, though. That's how much of a gap Cole Baker has grown on the field. Z Flickinger is now up to third in points. Lee Alvarise fourth, and Matt Haas dropped from second to fifth in the standings after last week's event. Sixth in points is J Baskinger. Trent Dunham is now up to 7th. J Srigley up to 8th. Blaine Keys is 9th. And Emmanuel Hartnett currently is in 10th. As far as drivers that would be near the danger zone that have wins this season, there's really only a couple of them, and there are a couple of teammates. Outside pole sitter Benjamin Miles, Cody Llamas for NW Racing. We'll get to that in just a moment. But K Batson and Benjamin Miles are about to bring them down. We're about to put them green flag, and it is out. We're underway here at Rockingham. Now for Cody Llamas, he is just a couple of spots ahead of 30th in points. He comes into this race 26th in the standings. But for Benjamin Miles, he needs a really good run here because he is 31st in the point stands. And if my calculations are correct, he is 7 points out of 30th in the standings. So Benjamin Miles needing a good run here. And look at this. Look at that high line. Get that big run off the corner. And Benjamin Miles is going to utilize it early, and he will lead the first lap of this race. So that's a very valuable bonus point as well. So make it 6 points difference between him and 30th in the point standings. Of course, the other driver that is in the danger zone is rookie John Bunnell, our winner from Bermuda, but he's a go-or-go-home non-chartered ride, and I do not think he made... Oh, he did make this race. Okay, so we'll have to keep a tabs on him. Bunnell did make the race, as did Elijah Gordon, who's making his final Hersheys Cup Series start. We saw him yesterday making his final Almond Joy Series start. Also in this race, Amaury Studemeyer. Trying to remember all these drivers. Andrew Davis. Actually, it would be easier to just go at the rear of the field and look. There's, who is that? Daniel Olson, that's right. Haven't seen him in the race for a while. That's why I was not able to really remember. There's John Bunnell slicing and dicing up there. Isaac Canepa in the 43 made the race, as did Lyndon Wright in the 81. Oh, this is careful. Oh, look out! John Bunnell nearly turned Kyle Matthews. And that could have been dangerous. Whoa, and then Matthews slides up into John Arndt. This is where it's going crazy back here at the rear of the field. Miles under fire. James Richardson trying to get the inside line working. Can't do it this time, and here comes K Batson now on the high line. Going to try and take the second position away from the FedEx Toyota. Hard racing all over this racetrack as Keith Batson, look at this. Shades of Carmichael Jasson yesterday. Oh, Miles able to put the block on him. That was close. That's the one difficulty here with blocking at Rockingham. You bring your car up the racetrack there, there's no guarantee that when you move up, the driver that's got the run on you, that his nose isn't going to be there. Now, one driver that Benjamin Miles does not want to see have a good run is actually having a pretty decent run right now, and that is Dylan Young in the 2. There he is. The reason is because Dylan Young is 30th in the point standings, and Benjamin Miles, he wants to get himself into the top 30 in the points. Right now, he would, according to, with the lap that he's led, he would be 6 points out of 30th in the standings, which means that he has to finish at least 7 spots ahead of Dylan Young. Right now, with Young running 10th and Miles leading the race, he has done so. And Miles' teammate Cody Llamas right there, we mentioned 26th in points, trying to have a good run to get away from 30th in the point standings. Right now, I think he's running in the 14th position is what they're saying, as we got another battle going on up here. Batson was alongside Miles for a moment. Good battling amongst these three. Miles has already been to victory lane. His goal is to try and get into the top 30 in points. Keith Batson, J Richardson, they're looking for their first wins of the season. Daniel Voyles now there in 4th. Tim Walsh currently in 5th. Here comes Trent Dunham, Joshua Michaels, Carson Scott. A lot of potential drivers that are trying to get their first wins of the season. I mean, Trent Dunham, this has maybe been one of the best Hersheys Cup Series seasons he's had. He's 7th in the point standings, but he still hasn't found victory lane. He's got to try to find victory lane to have all that consistency count for something so he can make the chase. Because right now, the chase field is filling up. The spots are filling up. Kyle Matthews has already locked himself up a spot, as has Matt Haas, as has K Tellier, all 2-time winners this season. So that's 3 spots gone. Then you throw in other drivers that are inside the top 30 with wins. That would include Cole Baker, Jake Baskinger, Blaine Keys, Emmanuel Hartnett, Dallas McIntosh, Zachary Fitzwater, Tim Walsh, Michael Norman, as well as J.T. Bryant, Sean Galligan, and Cody Llamas. That is 14 of the 16 spots right there that are gone as the battle is, or the lead has changed hands. James Richardson to the front. So that's 14 spots gone. Let's also surmise that Benjamin Miles is going to make it into the top 30 in points. That's 15 slots gone. And that's held by race winners. There's only really 1 spot left open for a driver to make it in via points, and that spot could go away if we have somebody up here in our top 3 go to victory lane, driver that hasn't been to victory lane this season. Richardson, Batson, Daniel Voyles, all looking for win number 1 of season 3. So, like I said, we're only on race number 20. We still got 6 more races after this to go. And there's no saying we couldn't have 6 other different race winners this season. So space is limited, and victory lane is a huge, necessary thing for these drivers. And I just saw some skid marks there off of turn 4. We're still green. Oh, and Charles Sanford's got damage. I wonder if he's the car that maybe spun off of 4. Is he... He's 42nd. He is still on the lead lap, but I'm wondering if he was the reason for those skid marks coming off the turn 4 area. Watch when he comes out of 4. Watch down towards the grass. Right there. You can see those skid marks. I don't know where he was running when he spun. He hasn't lost touch with the field. So he must... To my estimation, he must have actually been running pretty well when he was spun, and probably he got that left side damage from hitting that inside wall that separates the racetrack from pit road. But apparently was able to save it, and at least still running on the lead lap. I don't know if he's necessarily up to speed, and you see back there's a gap back to Dylan Young there, back all the way to the rest of the field. That might have been where Sandfer was actually running, behind Dylan Young and all that, and that's what split the field up when Sandfer nearly spun it. But apparently he didn't spin it, and so we haven't gotten a caution flag. We're getting close to the halfway point of this race. Now remember, we didn't have pit stops in the Almond Joy Series race. They only ran 20 laps. More than likely, if this thing goes green to the end, we are going to have green flag pit stops here at Rockingham that could really cycle this field around, shuffle this field around. Remember, it came down to fuel strategy last week at the Glen. K Tellier, with a huge gap on the field, was able to save enough fuel to make it around and win that race. Daniel Voyles right there in third. Solid outing for him. That's another driver that really needs a good run today, let alone a trip to victory lane, because Daniel Voyles comes into this race currently situated 35th in the point standings. And if you put that into perspective, that is technically dead last of all drivers that came into this season with a charter. So that is not good for Voyles, and having a solid outing right now is the Yu-Gi-Oh! Chevrolet out of Anime Racing Team. And I think the caution may be out. Yes, indeed it is. So the caution comes out, and I'll tell you who this was a big break for was Charles Sandfer. Like I said, I don't know how up to speed he was. Skid marks right up on the high line out of 2, and then drifting down towards the apron on the back straightaway. And let's see who this may have involved. Oh, M Haas involved in this one, it looks like. Boy, that rookie's had a lot of tough luck in the last couple of weeks. Kyle Matthews back here as well. We saw him nearly get turned earlier by John Bunnell. I wonder if somebody turned him again. And there you see Charles Sandfer. Oh, I saw some damage, I thought, on the NXT Chevrolet of Michael Norman. Yes, indeed, Norman was involved. There you can see a lot of right and rear damage on that car. And now comes the strategy. Do you come to pit road or no? Yeah, Matthews got damage. Brandon Gonzales is coming to pit road. Baskinger's in. I think I just saw Maurice Dudemeyer Jr. in. And there you see Keith Batson is in. Miles, Fitzwater, Voyles. Richardson, however, decided to stay out. And Voyles trying to win the race off pit road, and he does. So, some drivers elect to come to pit road under this caution. Other drivers do not. Would this be the stop that could determine our race winner? We'll find out. Caution coming out right at the midway point. Let's take a look at a replay of what happened. First, we'll take a look and see what happened to Charles Sandfer that didn't bring out the caution, and then we'll see what brought us under the yellow, officially for the first time today here at Rockingham. Well, believe it or not, Charles Sandfer did spin. I thought he didn't spin. I thought he might have saved, and that's why we were under caution, but he did spin. Side by side here with his teammate J Shelton, and Dallas McIntosh sticks his nose down there to try and make it 4 wide, and there just wasn't any room given. Sandfer goes around off the nose of the cheese at Ford. I don't know if it was because it was down in the grass that the caution didn't come out or what. But Sandfer able to wisely get back into the throttle. Right here, trying to save it, and he just gets it right into the wall just a little bit. He nearly got out of that without any damage whatsoever. And there you see him bring it safely back up the racetrack. And so since he didn't make any contact with anybody when returning back to the racing surface, that's why NNSCRA did not throw the yellow flag. So a nice save by Charles Sandfer. Almost got through that whole spin unscathed, but did get some left side damage there. Did the Valvoline Chevrolet. Well, one could say Dallas McIntosh was at fault for that spin of Charles Sandfer. Well, it looks like he's going to actually maybe be responsible for this caution flag that came out too. Right here you can see he's pushing rookie M Haas up the racetrack, and yeah, McIntosh pushes Haas up into Norman up into the fence, and then watch the track just get blocked up here as M Haas going to come back down the racetrack. Gets into Kyle Matthews, who had nowhere to go. And then Matthews and M Haas were the two that went spinning down to the inside retaining wall. So Dallas McIntosh, I don't know, he's trying to make all these moves down low, and it just doesn't look like his car is able to hold the bottom. It's the second time he slid up into somebody. First it was into Charles Sandfer off of 4. This time it was up into M Haas, exiting turn number 2. So that's what put us under the caution. And we will get ready now to go back to green flag racing. There's two-time winner Kyle Matthews, two-time winning rookie Matt Haas involved in this one. Let's go back now to green. James Richardson's the leader, but we could have some strategy playing out here in the closing stages of today's race. So we'll get ready to go back green flag racing. It'll be 16 laps to go when we do. James Richardson is the race leader. Tim Walsh runs in second. Joshua Michaels third. Cody Llamas fourth. Fifth is Emmanuel Hartnett. Then the rest of your top 10, Dylan Young, Blaine Keys, Nathan Hudson, Andrew Davis, and L Alvarise. First of the cars to come off pit road was Daniel Voyles, and he restarts way back here. He's all the way back in. He was scored 27th. So 26 drivers did not come to pit road. After the incident, only one driver behind the wall, and that is Matt Haas. Matt Haas, second straight week, that 78 team has found some hardships. As the green flag is back out here at Rockingham, Matt Haas dropped 3 spots in the standings from second to 5th after last week's race at the Glen, and he's going to lose a lot more positions after today's race. So you got to think that Richardson and company, they're planning on maybe another quickie yellow to be able to maybe pit under yellow flag conditions. I mean, if this thing goes green and they have to make green flag pit stops, I think we can safely say Daniel Voyles on back coming to pit road under this caution. They're going to be able to make it the rest of the way. So that's all I can think of, unless somehow, some way, all these drivers were able to save fuel under that caution, but I don't think they'd be able to save enough. I mean, 16 laps, that's nearly a little less than half the race still to go. Battle is on for second. Tim Walsh has it. Joshua Michaels wants it. There's Cody Llamas in the mix. Emmanuel Hartnett right there, our Eldora race winner, Dylan Young. Dylan Young 30th in the point standings. A win would certainly help that team out. Dylan Young hasn't been to victory lane since Homestead, Miami last year. And there's Joshua Michaels. Let's keep in mind, Joshua Michaels has we talked about Benjamin Miles having a kind of a streak of 2-win seasons to defend. Well, Joshua Michaels actually has won a race every season for the first 2 seasons. He won his first race season 1 at Pocono, second race season 2 at Auto Club. So he'd love to be able to pick up his 3rd career win in his 3rd season. Would also be history. It'd be the first time that a Honda Accord won an NNSCRA Hersheys Cup Series race, I believe. Oh, no, I'm wrong. Michaels actually drove the Honda last year, too. Never mind. Right now, though, that high line showing its worth. Cody Llamas getting around both Joshua Michaels and Tim Walsh. He'll move into the 2nd position. Dylan Young going to jump up there as well. And now he'll move into 3rd. Oops. Look at the pace car there. Let me take a look and see when the last time James Richardson won a race was. His last win was at, wow, all the way back at Dover, which was pre-All-Star race back in Season 2. And we're under caution again. So this may have been the yellow flag that James Richardson and company were looking for. Now they'll be able to come to pit road under yellow, or maybe this caution will give them the opportunity maybe to save more fuel. They may actually be trying to one-stop this thing. Let's see, does Richardson indicate he's coming to pit road at all? And the answer is no. Pit road was open. He's not coming to pit road. And it doesn't look like anybody else is either. Pit road going to be very quiet here on this run. Let's see what put this caution out. That was a kind of a surprise yellow. Oh, J Bryant. Lot of hood damage on the Shell Pennzoil Ford. Our winner from about 3 weeks ago at Arizona. It's a tough break there for JT. JT came into this race in the 23rd position in the standings. And there you can see more skid marks there on the back straightaway, and I think they probably all belong to that 22 car. Let's take a look at a replay. We're under caution. We're going to have less than 10 to go when we go back green. Now this starts here with last week's winner from the Glen, K Tellier actually. I thought it started with J Bryant, but I was incorrect. And watch right here, K Tellier going to try and move up the racetrack. Lyndon Wright's on that high side, so he gets that nice run off the corner. And I think K Tellier thought she was going to be clear, tries to move up in front of him, and Lyndon's already there. So either poor judgment on K Tellier's part or the spotter had poor judgment. And then here comes the shot from J Bryant. Trent Dunham getting a slight piece of that. And look at Benjamin Miles trying to get low, and he just can't get low enough. Makes contact with the right front. Also pancakes the left side into that safer barrier. So, boy, a couple of drivers there that really needed good runs today. J Bryant trying to follow up his win from a couple weeks ago at Arizona. K Tellier, of course, picking up her second win of the season last week at the Glen. And, wow, how ironic, actually, that involved the last 3 weeks' race winners. Bryant 3 weeks ago, Miles 2 weeks ago, and last week, K Tellier. Boy. Of course, for Benjamin Miles, he's trying to get himself into the top 30 in the point stands. And right now, with the fact that Dylan Young's running pretty well, it's not looking good for him to be able to make the top 30 in points after today's race at Rockingham. So that's what puts us under the caution. Let's go back now for the green flag. Well, 6 laps of fuel. That's all James Richardson and all the rest of those drivers who have yet to come to pit road need. Can they have saved enough here under this caution and our last caution? We're about to find out. We'll restart with 6 laps to go. Richardson the leader, Llamas in second, Dylan Young in third, Tim Walsh fourth, Emmanuel Hartnett in fifth. 2 of these drivers in the top 5 have not been to victory lane yet this season, that being the 2 and the race leader, the 11. Joshua Michaels lines up in 6th. 7th place is Blaine Keys. How about John Bunnell up in the 8th position? Former winner of the season at Bermuda, needs good finishes to get himself up into the top 30 in points. He's in 8th. L Alvarise in 9th. And Keith Batson, the pole sitter, right now in the top 10. Take a look and see if anybody retired out of the race after that incident. No, all the drivers that were involved continuing on, including K Tellier and J Bryant. Only driver still at this point out of the race, M Haas. So here we go. 6 laps left here at Rockingham. Green flag back out. Can these leaders make it the rest of the way? Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that the highest running driver that came to pit road under the first caution is the 39 of Keith Batson. So if drivers start running out of fuel, I think Batson would be in good shape. Richardson right now hanging on tough to the lead. 5 laps to go. Cody Llamas, Dylan Young battling hard for 2nd place. That's going to allow Richardson to be able to grow some distance. And Llamas clears Dylan Young for the 2nd position. Now sets his sights on Richardson. Young back into 3rd. Then you got Tim Walsh and Emmanuel Hartnett. They were battling for 4th. Walsh will get the spot. It's all a question of, can Richardson make it the rest of the way on fuel? 37 laps on his tires, but the same can be said for Cody Llamas and Dylan Young behind him, so they're equal where that's concerned. The difference could be who's saved the most fuel for this run. 3 laps to go. Richardson out in front. Cody Llamas about 4/10 off the back bumper. Dylan Young hounding him for 2nd. Keith Batson trying to fight his way up as quickly as he can. Batson has fought his way now up into the 5th position, trying to take that spot from Emmanuel Hartnett. He's got fresher tires, and he's definitely got enough fuel to get to the end, and I believe the caution flag may have come out. The caution flag is out with 2 laps to go. And it may have been a godsend for James Richardson, who now may be able to clutch and save enough fuel here for this final 1.5 laps. Trent Dunham, the reason for this most recent caution. Dylan Poteet, John Arndt also on the pit lane. Sean Galligan, lot of damage to our Daytona 500 winner. His teammate Anthony McCrury, lot of damage. Voyles, Gordon, Studemeyer, all with damage on their machines. Big incident apparently, bringing out this final caution of the day as the white flag is displayed over the hood of the FedEx Toyota. It has been 43 races since James Richardson went to victory lane. Back in Season 2 at Pocono. And it looks like a 43 race winless streak is about to come to an end here today at Rockingham. I did not honestly think that anybody was going to be able to make it this entire race without having to come to pit road to stop for fuel. But the top three, Richardson, Llamas, and Young, never made a pit stop throughout this entire 40-lap event. James Richardson, fuel conservation at its finest, out of turn 4 for the final time, and he will end a 43-race winless streak. He will take his first checkered flag of Season 3. James Richardson wins here today at North Carolina Speedway. James Richardson was in the chase for the championship last year after he made the jump from Roush Fenway Racing over to Joe Gibbs Racing, and now here today, he may have just made his second straight chase for the championship with that 11 team. Richardson came into this race 22nd in the point standings, which means that that win right now would have him a spot in this season's chase for the championship. And what did I say? I said that we had, I think it said we had 14 spots taken at this point, with how the point standings looked like coming into this race at North Carolina, taken away. Benjamin Miles, don't know where he finished, don't know if he'd be up inside the top 30 in the points. Yeah, probably not with the run that Dylan Young had today in third place. So now we can probably say that 15 of 16 spots are taken by race winners right now. This is unofficial, of course. A lot can still happen in the upcoming 6 races. But James Richardson takes the checkered flag here today, and I do believe that is the, I want to say the 3rd win of the season for Toyota. I might be wrong, but I believe it is. I think the only other Toyota that's been to victory lane yet this season was Matt Haas, who went to victory lane twice. But officially, the race is over, and Richardson is the winner. Cody Llamas will finish the day out in second, so that'll help get him away from that danger zone of 30th in the point standings. Dylan Young, this will keep him in the top 30 in standings. Now he's just got to find victory lane. 3rd place run for him. Keith Batson was trying. He had the tires to fight his way up through the field. He went from 10th up to 4th place on that last run. But, man, if it had stayed green, maybe he'd have been able to do something. I don't know, but he'll finish 4th. Emmanuel Hartnett will finish the day out in 5th. That team has been really strong the last couple of weeks as the 97 team. Tim Walsh will get the 6th position, another driver that's actually had some good runs in the last couple of weeks. Blaine Keys finishes 7th, Joshua Michaels in 8th, a well-needed 9th place top 10 run for John Bunnell, and Leon Alvarez will finish the day out in the 10th position. 11th place is going to be Andrew Davis, solid run for that rookie. Nathan Hudson 12th, Joseph Srigley 13th, Jessica Shelton 14th, Dallas McIntosh in 15th, Lyndon Wright, good run for him in 16th, 17th for Carson Scott. Cole Baker, first time in a long time we've seen him finish outside the top 10. He'll finish the day out in 18th, but still going to have his points lead going into next week's race. Charles Sandford, talk about a comeback for that driver. Spun out early, didn't get a caution flag, was running 42nd for most of the first half of this race, gets the yellow flag, and he'll finish the day out in the top 20 and 19th. And Daniel Olson will finish in the 20th position. The rest of your finishing results from 21st on down through 30th were Joshua Ciculli, Levi McIntyre, Zach Flickinger, Isaac Canepa, J Baskinger, Chris Dodd, Brandon Gonzales rather. Benjamin Miles finishes down in 28, so I don't think that was enough to get him into the top 30 in points still, so he'll have to use the next 6 weeks to try and get himself into the top 30, have his win at Springfield Mile count towards a chase spot. Kyle Matthews, tough break for him in 29th. 30th for J Bryant. They all finished on the lead lap, as did Daniel Voyles in 31st. Elijah Gordon in his final Hersheys Cup Series start finishes 32nd. 33rd for Zachary Fitzwater. Amari Stoudemire Jr. finished in 34th, K Tellier 35th, Michael Norman 36th, Anthony McCrury and Sean Galligan 37th and 38th as they were caught up in that last incident, that last caution flag, and then as were Dylan Poteet and Trent Dunham, they both finished a lap down, 39th and 40th. 41st was John Arndt. He also was collected in the incident, I do believe, and then finishing out of the race was Matt Haas in 42nd position. So, not much really changing after this race. Benjamin Miles doesn't make the top 30 in points, I don't think. Cole Baker keeps the points lead, but the only thing that does change is we have another potential driver locked into the chase for the championship, possibly in the form of James Richardson winning here today. Hope that you guys enjoyed today's race from Rockingham. If you did, be sure to give us a like, subscribe to become part of the crew today. We've given you your full official results, and now we'll show you your point standings heading into next week. Like I said at the Almond Joy Series race, I'm not exactly sure where we're going next week. The track that was on the schedule last year didn't exactly have the best of racing, so I'm actually looking into some tracks to see if I can find one that has some really good racing. I'd like to go to another road course if possible, but I don't know if that's going to be the case yet or not. So stay tuned. You will find out the same time that I do, basically. And, yeah. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and we will see you guys next time as you've been watching Production NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best.